guys. We are here with Reckless by Lauren Roberts. This is the second, technically the second book in her Powerless trilogy. There's a novella that comes in between Powerless and Reckless that we also did. So don't start here. Go back and read those books or watch the episodes. Or I guess if you just want to dive right into the Reckless episodes, here you are. Here we are. Um, I have a lot of thoughts, and I'm just gonna dive right in on Powerless, Reckless. How are we feeling? Like, is Reckless exceeding your expectations? Is it meeting your expectations? Are you waiting for it to meet your expectations? Like, where are we at? Just like quick pulse check.
I guess waiting, but my bar is already low.
Right, right.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's exceeding it, but that's just because I went in fully expecting to hate everything about it.
You went in thinking you were going to skip this book entirely, so I understand. I will say I'm at
Are we
like
allowed?
meeting or exceeding, me personally. I am not lying to you. You will get not a
Wow.
single lie in this whole episode. I'm right, I'm there. And I think it's because, and I must impress upon everyone, just change your expectations. I tweaked them a little bit going into this book, and really, like, it's been fantastic.
Um, are we allowed to talk about powerful? I just need to know.
Absolutely. Yes. So we
Okay.
are going to discuss everything, or at least everything that we can, but we will recklessly spoil everything from Reckless, chapters 1 through 13, as well as Powerful, the novella, and Powerless, the first book. So you've been warned. If you don't want that, turn it off now. Otherwise, Elena is about to do what she does best. Go, Elena. Spoil. What?
Um, I feel like so far the biggest thing that I keep expecting that hasn't happened is where the heck is Mac? Like,
No
there's been
idea.
multiple times where I'm like, "Oh, it's Mac." Or like when the Imperial approaches her in the desert in his little outfit, I'm like, "Oh my god, it's Mac in his little Imperial outfit coming to help." No. Then oh, a random man is carrying her in the desert. I'm like, "Oh, Mac followed her to the desert." No.
Yeah, I only had the one and only "Ooh, is it Mac?" And it was that like second Imperial in loot. It was like, oh, like a man is behind me. And I was like, oh, thank God it's Mac. And it wasn't Mac. And I think after that, I think I have personally lost all hope for Mac happening. Just me personally. Again, change your expectations, guys. Mac is never showing up again.
If Mac doesn't show up at all in this book,
I don't
what
know
would
because this book is already on a trajectory that I was not expecting at all. I don't know why. Maybe that's just me. And I want to get to that. But like yeah, Jamie, did you also have you had like Mac flashes? Are you looking for him around every corner?
There was a moment in Loot where I thought she was running away and she disappears. I think this was in Kai's chapter. I'm like, oh, maybe Matt got her then, like, because he. But then, well, he doesn't have the phaser thing. I forgot about that. Um, but yeah, there were a few moments where I'm like, oh, this would have been a good opportunity for Mac to show up, and then all of a sudden she's in the scorches, and I'm like, okay, well, there goes that idea.
Yeah.
So,
So where are we at in like the is Mac going to show up and if so when? Because me personally, I'm now assuming he might not show up until the last book.
well, if Kai's plan goes the way he wants it to, where he brings her back to Ilya, then there's possibility that he might be showing up there. Maybe he has like revenge plan for Adina. Um, I'm still holding on to hope that he'll show up by the end of this book.
That would be good. Elena, any hopes whatsoever?
he has to. But also we're in Door. How long are we gonna be in Door? I have a feeling
I
we're gonna find out maybe in the next chapter, depending who wins this fight. If we're going back to Ilya,
yeah. Yeah.
Ilya, Ilya.
I don't know because like I thought Door would be cool and Door's not cool at all. Like I'm not a fan of Door.
I like the fight ring. The fight ring's kind of fun.
That's about it. Like yeah, like Door Fight Club is the only thing that I like about Door. Otherwise it seems like a weird cross between like like it seems based off of how it's written, like some people have Irish accents and then other people have like Bronx accents, and so I'm not sure where we are in like the world of this fantasy culture. But everyone's just like not great.
You know what's missing, and probably why we don't like it or not as fun? Sticky buns.
You know what, Jamie? That was what I was missing. I was missing more sticky buns.
No, I will
I
say
was
when
so
Peyton
fixated on that word.
when Peyton, like, I don't know, chapter like later on, like 8 or 9, for some reason, like she's having this internal monologue where she's thinking about her favorite foods and she's like, oh, I really like butterscotch because my dad really likes butterscotch. I'm like, thank God we have another food option.
Yep. Still also random and desserty, but yep, it's not sticky buns. Yeah, everything was really sticky in these first 13 chapters.
It
If I
was just
had
so
the
glaring.
ebook, I would have already searched for the word
Yeah.
sticky to see how many times it
I
pops up.
did.
How many?
How many?
It didn't give me a number.
Look
That
at
it was a
Sealed
I
either,
literally looked it up.
because I was
Is
gonna
it
say
not
yeah,
on
it
like
Uh,
the
feels like
top
that.
left?
no, it doesn't say. It just
Oh, bummer.
How many
it actually
times?
looks like we've actually seen most of them. Like, for the most part,
Wow. So we front loaded the
the
sticky.
majority of them are through chapter 10. It looks like we're on a downhill. We get one in 16 and then not again until 37. So, like,
Oh,
I'm
thank
sure
God.
everyone's gonna be really sad that nothing's sticky anymore.
It was just so excessive in this section. It was almost
Even the
driving me
sand was
crazy.
sticky. Like everything was sticky.
The blood was I like that was the one thing that I remember in Powerless was when she described the stickiness of blood as she was thieving and like getting it confused with like blood and the stickiness of the sticky
Mm.
buns. Yeah. And I looked it up and I was like, okay, blood can be sticky, but like so soon? You know how like when blood dries or something and
Yeah.
it's like that because I don't know. Maybe I'm over explaining it, but it was just like something that I kind of like fixated on when I started reading Powerless, and then I kind of just accepted it as fact that blood could be sticky, and now I don't know. It's just excessive, but I'm glad to hear that it goes downhill with the use.
Less
Only
sticky.
one use of sticky in our next section.
Oh,
Thank
Keep
goodness.
your eye out for it.
I was gonna say, everybody keep your eye
Do
out.
you want
Let's
me to
see
tell
if
you the
do
context?
no. Nope.
no.
Now I'm really looking forward to finding out. I want to be surprised. As if I
May
haven't
or
been
may not
spoiled
be
with
bun.
everything.
It may or may not be blood related, and then the next one is bun related.
Okay, moving on. Um, the overall tone of the plot. So I said this is not going in any direction that I thought it was going to go in. Me personally, I was like, okay. So Peyton is supposed to be really, really good at reading people and is also like, fairly good at physically fighting. And it seems like she would probably be fairly good at like staying hidden, like staying out of the way. I was so surprised when she immediately was just like, gotta go into the scorches. Like everything we've heard about the scorches is that it is almost certain death. So I'm like, ugh. I mean, I understand this is a backup plan, but I thought she was gonna be in loot a lot longer, aka Mac. Like that's when she was gonna meet Mac. But if she was gonna go into the scorches, are we really going into the scorches with like an almost mortal leg wound and somehow still surviving? Elena, go.
Counterpoint: she doesn't immediately go into the scorches. First, she spends 3 days in her childhood home.
Let's tackle that first. So, I was trying to figure out if I was being unfair by also when it opens with her like grieving in her dad's house, and I was like, why does everything have to happen in this house? Is it that I had given her the head start? Because she does mention that. She's like, okay, my head start is up, I gotta go. Was it that and that she maybe just like left 10 minutes too late? Or should she really have gone somewhere else?
You can go for a day to recover, like grab some stuff, but to still be there when they get there, crazy.
Yeah.
There like, you're just telling me there literally wasn't anywhere in the entire loot like, similar to what you were saying, where, like, her best option after that point is the Scorches. Her best option before that is her house, and then the best option after that is the Scorches. There's not a single other place she could have, like, snuck into, like, "Oh, there's this man like, there's this house I know is empty a lot of times," like, nowhere?
Yeah, and I guess we don't really know how prevalent silver hair is. And I mean, we now know that her face is plastered everywhere and she's super duper wanted. So, like, was I being unfair to think that she should stay in loot? Like, was it just that, like, she had to leave?
I think part of it is just when she agreed to help the rebellion, like, was there no backup plan? Like, when this goes south and, like, my identity is given up, like, is there anywhere I can hide or, like, a contact for me?
As we've discussed, there was barely a plan, never mind a backup plan. Like, I mean, I'm not surprised that there wasn't like the when everything goes south because they were just so confident about their super, super foolproof plan.
It was kind of strange, like no one else from the resistance made it out.
We think. And I'm still wondering if, like, later on, because I think we've got to come back to loot at some point if we're going to find someone like Callum is going to have escaped. Because right now, all we know is that, like, they tortured people for information and nobody was there when Peyton got back. But that doesn't necessarily mean that like some people didn't immediately go back to the scene of the rebellion after the rebellion fell through. You know, like at least some people were smart that weren't named Peyton. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not upset that she's in Dora. I think it's like like I also didn't expect it, but like I'm not unhappy. Like I think it's nice now that she's there. A little and I just feel like they really hype up getting across the Scorches being hard, and so far everyone that we've seen try and get across the Scorches has made it. Abigail and her family seem to have made it. Hayden made it with a full-on leg wound. Um, Kai and his entire battalion made it without a problem.
Yeah, we got across the Scorches and all of a sudden I was like, oh, so the Scorches like aren't hard to get through. Okay. Um, You mentioned Abigail too, and I did want to talk about her. Do we love that? I personally am very happy that we have Abigail because that seems like a cool plot line that we could like use
Mhm.
in a way that we've introduced before. I personally had no idea how she and Kai just like became friends over the course of 3 pages. But I did really like that she's back, and I hope that she's going to end up being like a character that we see again.
But yeah, it was really cute. I didn't mind that they became fast friends. They just, they have that connection.
Like, oh hey, you like condemned me and my whole family to death, and you just caught me trying to steal all your money. But like, yeah, let me just go show you where the fight ring is. It's cool.
I mean,
It was giving
he
like
did
deja vu a little bit with like
Mm,
her stealing from him, like the way Peyton did. So maybe that he
yeah,
has just like a little soft spot for little thieves.
yeah,
he does have a soft spot for little thieves. I also felt like their friendship, like, it was fast, but I mean, the alternative was he was gonna kill her, so maybe she's like cutting him some slack because he banished her instead.
do we have any idea like what role Abigail could play going forward?
We're never seeing her again.
Well, see, that's what I'm worried about. I'm worried that it's just like, oh look, Abigail, and like then she's never gonna pop back up.
That one. That's the
Honestly,
option.
that's the real possibility.
Oh,
You know how you said about setting our expectations?
But you
yeah,
know what?
but it could be cool if she like apprenticed with Hayden. That would be
Or
nice.
she's another A name that will end up losing.
There are a
Which
lot
is
of
possible.
A's. So yeah, let's
Hmm.
go back to the beginning of this section, which I went right over. Um, we find out that there's a dead sister. Like Kai and Kit had a sister who passed away at some point, which I was like, that's really sad. And I like that addition to both of their characters, especially Kai. I think someone in our book group mentioned, like, is that where he learned how to braid? Which oh,
That was really
no.
cute.
Like,
I didn't make that connection.
yeah.
I think it was
And
more of like, oh, there's a well, because like I looked at the family tree first because it was like the first thing you see if you have like a physical, a copy of the book, um, and you saw like there's this girl's name in the family tree that was never mentioned before. Yep, that's
I was
the
like, I don't know
one.
what corner it's in. It's over here somewhere.
The
Dana,
same mom as Kai.
that's Kai.
Yes. I
Yeah.
also went to the family tree first because it was really pretty, and that was where I was like, "Say what?" So I was
Yeah.
glad that they
Who's
mentioned it
Ava?
right in the first chapter. And I thought it was really sweet, like the whole, "Oh my goodness, are there any good foods other than sticky buns in this world? Please let me know." It was like a really sweet scene. Like I thought it was really adorable that Kai has this moment with his sister for her birthday every year. I thought that was really cute. And then we find out that her name also begins with A, and Kai also calls her A. And I was like, is this on purpose with
Hmm.
Adina?
You know for a fact I did not look at the family tree, and we had not been told about the sister. So he's like, "Oh, let me get Adina's favorite food." Like, it's very clear that it's for something that like, someone that he's breathing for, like, a long time and that this is, like, a yearly tradition with him and Kay, like, that's super, super clear. Then he gets a sticky bun and goes and visits someone with the name A, and I
Yeah,
was like,
Ava.
"There's there's no way."
Yeah, I don't think they could be the same person because Kit and Kai
Mm-mm.
have both met Adina in person when she was at the
Yeah.
palace. So there's no way that like they could be their sibling.
No, they're definitely not the same people, right? Because like Kai saw Adina get killed, and this was definitely like a long standing, like our sister's been dead for a while.
Yeah.
It just seemed
Yeah,
very strange. And like I don't know if it's like just a writing quirk that somehow
right.
we've got two characters now that are nicknamed A, or if like it's gonna create like a bond between Hayden and Kai later when they have to like figure out how to mend their bridge. Like I just it seems like it's a very specific detail to have in there.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about it.
It's okay, we're never gonna mention her ever again.
I feel like especially because this was a plot point that was not in the first book. Like this was not mentioned at all. If it
Right.
was hinted at, it was like very like not hinted at strongly. Um,
Yeah.
so I feel like to bring this like new plot element into book two and then never mention it again is unlikely. Like there's got to be a
Right.
reason, even if it is pure romance plot fodder. It's just like I've lost people, you've lost people. Like let's come back together and not like beat each other up over what we've done in the past.
Thing because like in Powerful we were theorizing that maybe Mac was like a long lost relative or sibling
Yeah.
with the Iser family or something.
Yeah. Yeah. So maybe we learn more about like where they all come from through Ava.
Hmm. So I'm just like wondering how it all connects.
Yeah, because I still like almost daily I think about how unlikely it is that you would have a like your two children would be super powerful, like a dual wielder and then like the wielder of
Right.
wielders. Like,
And there's like I guess you would say maybe cousins or something because there's in the family tree they would list out sons and daughters but not their names.
yeah. Oh, you know what thought I just had that I don't love? Because we don't
What?
know why Ava died.
Nope.
Mhm.
Was she supposed to be like, did the king get rid of her because she wasn't powerful enough? Did he orchestrate her death or something?
Oh.
Like, if she was ordinary?
Mhm. That'd be sad.
I don't think so, because I feel like that would have come up in Kai's POV as, like, part of the reason he hates his dad.
Oh,
If
but
it at least
I
if
would
it happened
assume
and he's aware.
yeah, I was gonna say I would assume that
Yeah,
if that was the case, like if there was something super untoward about like how she died, that that would be like a book two revelation and like
yeah.
also piece of plot to help him get over the fact that his dad is dead. He even says it in this section. He's like, "Do I really even care that she killed my dad?" And it's like, "No,
Yeah.
you don't."
No.
So like, why are you still so upset about this?
That is the one thing with this section is there were too many, like, introspective, we're in the desert and not talking to people, like, I think there were 3 or 4 chapters in a row where it was, like, just Kai introspective, Peyton introspective, Kai introspective, like and Kai's were, like, specifically, "Oh, do I care that my dad's dead?" And then the next one was like, "Oh, but the ordinaries have the disease that make us weaker," and, like, both of his POVs made me so angry because they were just so introspective, and it was like, "You know this isn't true. Like, you know you don't care."
I did enjoy the number of times Kai was like, "I think I'm going crazy," and I was like, "We both agree on something right now." But like, it's also hilarious, so continue, please.
Yeah. I mean, they were both going crazy in that time period. Did we know that not all the ordinaries, like, because I think there was a part in Kai's chapter that said something specifically about like not all ordinaries had like that disease or something.
I think the the predominant story is that it's the ordinaries that like lived in Ilia and got the plague, but then like didn't get powers, that they like sap the powers from the elites. So like
Oh, okay.
the other towns or cities across the scorches and across the water are just ordinaries because they didn't have the plague. So like they're
Yeah,
fine. It's just like the Ilian ordinaries that they gotta go. Yeah.
yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, it's
One big
crazy.
question I've had is, like, is hair dye not a thing, or mud, or shaving your head so you're bald?
Thank you, Elena. The minute she was like, I've got a scarf over my hair and I hope it doesn't pop out, I was like, first of all, if your hair doesn't pop out of a scarf while you're hand on hand combating with people, you're not fighting hard enough. Second of all, why didn't you just cut it all off? Like, you weirdo.
Especially if she's like, "Oh, I want him to think I'm a boy," like, just you don't even have
Shave
to,
your
like, cut
head.
it all the way down, like, sure, if you like, shaving it all the way down makes the most sense, but even if you cut it short, at least it's a little bit different.
Also, just like, how badass would that be? Just like a,
Also, put mud in it.
yeah. I was also struck by that.
There's gotta be dye somewhere. Like, they dye the clothes, like, dye put that on your head. Probably not great for your skin, but, like, better than dying.
Um, I have to say, I don't know about you guys, but I absolutely love this turn of events in this last chapter. Like the minute that I like challenged her to hand on hand combat, or it might have even been before that. I was like, I am totally on board for like sexy makeup, like fist fight. Like, let's do it. And then they were like, I see your wish, and I raise you sexy rooftop makeout sesh. And I was like, whoa! I didn't even know I could hope for that at this point. Like, what just happened, and why do I love it so hard?
I also loved
But
it.
but Kai keeps being like, "Oh, she's staring at me with hate, like, she hates me." And I'm like, "Sir, you're not gonna step back and think, like, why does she hate me?" Like, he's just assuming that it's because he's the enforcer. Like, I
They
just
had
want him to
Not
connect some
tension
dots.
they had that, that tension in Powerless. So it's kind of just like building up to that. And he I feel like that chapter, like he framed it really well where he was saying like he's not the enforcer. We're nobody. We're nothing. And that's when he kissed her.
Yeah. God, it was so hot.
Yeah, he's gonna drag her back to Kit anyway.
Yeah, no, okay. So when you started talking about like when they go back to Ilya, I have no question in my mind that she wins this fight because she just unmasked him in the middle of like a whole bunch of people who like apparently would want to kick his butt. So I have to assume that this is if it's not a draw, there's no way that he wins. But yeah, Elena, you brought up something else that I wanted to talk about, which is Kai keeps sort of like skirting around the whole like he said at least twice like I understand why she's upset with me, but he hasn't like actually come out and said it or thought the like I killed her dad. So I don't think that he knows. Like I don't think that he's
Don't think
put two and two together, which really does surprise me. Like the amount of emotional PTSD, forgetfulness that these two characters have stuns me because if and this is me assuming a lot, I recognize, but I feel like Kai, if he is so upset about this first kill, he would remember the house. Maybe not even the outside, but definitely the inside. Like he would remember where he stabbed that man and watched him bleed out, and the fact that he just doesn't have any thought of like, oh my god, this is the guy. Oh no, like did I kill her dad? Like there was is that coming or is it just gonna like go away?
I literally think at some point she's gonna be like, "You killed my dad," and he's gonna be like, "You had a dad?"
Dad for a dad.
Yeah, I think she's gonna have to tell him
Uh,
because they both have, I guess, very poor memory of that night.
I would have at least appreciated like like a shiver running up his spine and him being like, why do I suddenly feel nauseous walking into this house? Oh, I don't know. Because at this point, I'm just like, are we gonna forget all about this? Or is it just not come up because he really just does not remember?
I don't think he remembers. I mean, he blew up that house, so
He did. Yeah.
gone for
The
now.
best part of this entire section, he burned down that house so no one could ever use it for something dumb again. Like, "Oh, we're standing on the ashes. The ashes of the house are our new secret hiding
I
place."
was just gonna say that. I was like, Elena, that's a lot of faith that at some point she's not gonna go back to the ashes of the house and like be like, no, my dad. I do have to say that scene, while absolutely redonkulous, I loved just picturing Kai being like introspective, like dramatic princess, just having his like outside monologue while she's just like in the chimney. Like I just loved picturing the cross section of that house with him like right next to her and having no idea.
No one looked up the chimney, like, gave it a little peek-sees. Like, there's not an Imperial whose power is, like, sensing body heat that they brought on this search for a fugitive.
Right. And I mean, like, this is why I thought she was gonna have like no problem hiding in loot. Is like she's the one person he can't sense. Like he could sense anybody else, just like Mac was able to sense Adina. Like he would be able to be like, ah, yes, her psychic power's this way, but like she doesn't have one. Like she's so good at hiding with him, and like I just don't understand why she didn't do that more. At least like while her leg healed. Let your leg heal, then go into the scorches.
She was able to pull that off. And there was like no description of like her taking it off, or like, bandaging it or anything like that, right?
No. Like she
No,
put I think she like tore the end of her shirt off and like wrapped it around the cut.
Mm.
Which is going into the desert that's supposed to kill a bunch of people and you can barely walk and you're trying to tell me you walked for 5 days straight with little water?
Wait, we forgot that she dragged an Imperial too.
Yeah. That just reminded me too. I really loved how I think it was like the second person that I found like stabbed in the heart. He was like, ah, yes, her like her it was like her signature move is what he said, and I was like, I'm pretty sure that's just the easiest way to kill someone with a dagger.
She stabbed me in the heart too, figuratively, but hurt the same.
Oh my goodness. Oh, oh man. Um,
Um,
go ahead,
Speaking
Elena.
of people that got stabbed in the heart by her, Kit's being such a little baby. Like, we got his POV, and I was like, I don't need his POV. It's the same.
You know what? I disagree with you because s- I saw the K of Kit, thought it said Kai, just started reading and was like, wait, what? And then I looked back up, saw Kit, and went, oh no. And then I feel like instead of he was the same like crybaby that I was expecting, he was worse. Like I feel like he doubled down, and I was like, this chapter was actually worse than I thought it was going to be.
Mhm.
What is up with
Also,
him?
He had like a different perspective growing up compared to how we saw it in Kai's POV.
Yes.
So apparently, like in Kit's perspective, the king hated that Kai wasn't gonna be king, right? Or
Yes.
the heir.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
what?
We get this whole it totally gets turned on its head. Like Kai being like, yeah, my dad basically tortured me my whole childhood to like toughen me up and make me the enforcer, and then he just like babied Kit and like did, taught him all the king stuff, but like was really nice to him. Kit's like, oh yeah, my dad only paid attention to Kai and then like didn't care about me at all and wished that Kai was the king. And now I honestly don't know, like unless we find a journal of some kind from the king that can tell us like what his MO was. Like we just have two unreliable narrators talking about their dad. Elena, this face I need you to explain to me.
We need to find a journal or something, right? Because Kit was also like, oh, yeah, my dad told me to get close to Peyton. Why?
Okay.
Why?
Yeah. Like there's got to be more, right? Like there has to be some sort of like dastardly plot that the king had. And what was it?
I mean, I think we have to get a journal, right? We're gonna get a journal that's like, this is why I needed Peyton alive, and I wanted my son Kit to be close to her, but not Kai, because I definitely like told him to stop talking to her at different points. Also, I made up the lie about the ordinaries giving people a disease, like totally fake. Everyone can ignore that now. P.S. I was a bad dude.
And
And a
evil
bad
mother-in-law.
father.
I just like I kept trying to think because again, now I really do feel like maybe neither Kai nor Kit really knows what their dad's intentions were because both of their views are so different. Um and I was trying to think like okay, with a grain of salt, if Kit really understood that his dad wanted him to get closer to Peyton, why? And it's like, well, the only thing that I can picture is like to like lull her into a false sense of security, like to be able to kill her or something. Or was it along the lines of he just didn't want her to be with Kai? And then is it that he really wanted Kai to be king? Or is it that he was trying to create this strife between the brothers so that Kai would possibly kill Kit? Like, is there a world in which their dad was actually trying to do something to get Kit to die?
That's in his little journal. I was trying to have my son Kit murdered, and he should hate me now instead of trying to make me proud.
Right, because like I feel like the two options for the end of this book slash series are like Kit goes hard evil, must die. Kai becomes king. Or like Kit pulls head out of ass, becomes good king, lets Kai live his life separately. And I'm worried that at this point I feel like it's got to be the first one. Like I feel like we're going straight to like Kit self imploding.
There's always also the classic fantasy. Kit realizes the errors of his ways, steps down, and the kingdom becomes a democracy.
I feel like that's too hard a swing for this young adult 3-book series. But maybe it's possible.
The rebellion prevails democracy.
Yeah. Like I feel like at least in these first 13 chapters, Kai is making much bigger strides toward maybe this whole thing is dumb than Kit is. Like I feel like Kit is doubling down and he is like, I am upset and I deserve to be upset and I'm not leaving this room and I'm just gonna do my thing.
I also didn't love, and it wasn't Kit's POV, but it was Kai's POV when he's like talking to Kit. When Kit was like, "How do I know I can trust you? Like you betrayed our father," and Kai has to be like, "Do you want me to murder the children? Like, is that what you're trying to say right now?" And I don't think Kit ever says no. Like maybe he does, but
He does
if he
not.
does, it takes okay.
He does not say it in those words. He just basically does the whole like Uno reverse, I'm gonna give you a question.
Not a good look.
It's not. Yeah.
And Kai's like, "Oh, and we can't talk about Peyton because, like, we've never really been able to talk about Peyton anyway." And I was like, "Technically, neither of you cared in book one. Are we now pretending that there was tension there?" Well, I mean, there was at the end, but you know.
There was like a little tension, and I think we would have seen it more if we'd been able to get Kit's point of view. But it again, like Kai liked her first. Like it's not even just obvious to the reader. Like Kit makes fun of him for having a crush on her. And then in the next scene is like, "Oh, actually, yeah, I'm really into silver hair. I think I'm going to ask her to the ball." And it's like,
I wonder if it's just some like brotherly competition because we didn't get that until, or get the notion that there was some kind of like jealousy with, well, I guess we kind of did because like Kai gets to go out and like out and outside the castle and Kit never got to because he lived like a sheltered life.
yeah.
But uh, I
Yeah.
just, what else
I
was
would
I
just like to point out how much better the society would be if Peyton had just sucked it up and been like, "Kit's fine. I guess I can be in an arranged marriage with Kit and change things from the inside." Or the rebellion could have secretly murdered Kit, and then she could have just married Kai, and things would have been better from the inside.
Elena, I didn't know that I needed to be worried about that as a possible ending, but like, oh god, I'm like a
Oh,
little nauseous.
is there a possibility that Kit wants her taken back alive so he can marry her? 1,000%. You're saying that hasn't crossed your mind?
No, 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 ew,
Or
what?
like not necessarily to marry her, but like keep her in a little dungeon and like go visit her and be like, "Hi, it's me. I'm the only one that you get to see. Like, remember me? You're my little like dungeon girl now."
No, is that why? Okay,
He's
so I
admitted that he doesn't even know if he could like supports killing her. Like, didn't he say that in his POV?
right, no, and he does like I think he has that thought, but I keep assuming that he wants her to come to him alive so then he can force Kai to kill her in front of him. Like I kept seeing that as like the end because then he gets his revenge on both people simultaneously. And then obviously Kai's like, "No, I can't. I love her. We made out on a rooftop once and there's something about those blue eyes that I can't get out of my brain." Yuck. They're
Like, I'm not in support of it. I'm not like, "Oh, she should have married Kit." I'm just saying
well, at one point
it would have been more effective.
there's gonna be a crown on top of her head.
I'm just really worried now that there's a world in which the end of this book is like Kit somehow making a deal for her to marry him, which I don't really even know what his MO would be other than just like purely his own lust. And she says yes because it saves Kai somehow. I don't like this at all.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
Hmm.
But I guess you never know. I don't think I've actually thought something was gonna happen in this book and had it happen. Like, I will say, like, every time I'm like, "Oh, this is clearly going this way," it doesn't go that way.
That's fair because there were two different times in these 13 chapters where Peyton was like, "Oh, the vest that Adina made me, like this stitching," and I kept waiting for her to be like, "There's a compartment in this vest that I never knew, and there still hasn't been."
She literally has the thought, like, "Oh, this vest isn't very helpful for the desert. It's only helpful for leaving." I'm like, "So glad you went back for it, girl."
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was waiting for something to happen with it and nothing.
No, I think it's just a cute. We loved each other so much and we're friends. I will say that I'm very happy that she remembers Adina. Like I'm not happy for her that she has this like awful PTSD where she doesn't want to sleep because she keeps seeing Adina die. But I was a little worried that I was onto something with the whole like how do you keep forgetting your best friend even when she's like dead in your lap? So I'm glad that she does keep remembering Adina. So there's nothing weird there.
No, but Kit seemingly forgot their dead sister's birthday. So I think just forgetting important people in your life
Kid's
is
going through a
fine.
lot, Alina. You need to understand him.
Sorry, his mediocre dad died. I forgot.
Worse than mediocre, honestly. Not even arguable.
I just
Ugh,
not like awful as a person. I'm saying mediocre as a dad to Kit. Like, I think that's a fair.
true. Yeah, definitely mediocre. Oh man. Um, I have to say, for all of the things that I think are very silly about this book, I cannot wait to keep reading it. Chapter 13, fantastic. Top tier chapter in my book. Like, I cannot wait to see where this is going.
I was just thinking like, "Oh, I'm gonna start reading after this," and then I remembered I can't because there's absolutely a 0% chance I'll remember in 2 weeks what happened.
Yeah, yeah, we do have a little bit of a pause, but I want to keep reading immediately. I'm really enjoying. And yeah, I think it's just tweaking your expectations. But, yeah, we are reading chapters 14 through 24 for the next section. We're doing this in 4 sections, if you haven't seen that yet. So keep reading along with us, and then come back and we'll see who wins the cage fight. Does Peyton go back to Ilya? Does Mac exist? Will we find the King's Journal? So many things.
Mac was actually just a figment of Adina's imagination. He doesn't exist as a person.
I would burn the novella. I would burn it. And I am like anti book burning, but I would do it. I'd do it in this case. Oh my goodness. All right. Read those chapters, come back, and we will see what happens. Great, guys. Bye.
Bye.